Welcome to another exciting and informative episode of the Entreprenudist Podcast, a place to hear real entrepreneurs and business owners bear it all. I am your host, Randolph Love III. And if you have not heard, the third's the word. We have another great entrepreneur on the show today. But before we bring him up, I want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by Wolf Strongholds, a wealth growth and protection company. When it comes to estate planning, when it comes to retirement planning, when it comes to employee benefits, when it comes to life insurance, if your plan ain't Wolf, your plan ain't strong. If you are a business owner that wants to retire higher than you would have prior, make sure you visit shieldwolfstrong.com or call or text +1 904 822 4262. Now to our guests. At the age of 2, his birth father passed away in a car accident. At the age of 26, after getting to nearly a fatal car accident himself, he questioned everything. He was already very successful from the outside looking in, but filled with pain, regret, and abandonment challenges. He searched for answers and finally found what he was really missing at this time: personal development. Today, he's grateful to lead a global team of 18 individuals as the founder and CEO of Next Level University, a global top 100 podcast focused on helping others reach their own unique potential in health, wealth, and love. With well over 2,100 episodes and more than 1 million listeners in 180 plus countries, he's been doing this deeply meaningful work for more than a decade. And after accumulating more than 10,000 hours of coaching, training, and podcasting with all walks of life, he believes in a heart-driven but no BS approach to achieving both external success and internal fulfillment. Alan Lazaros, thank you for coming on the Entreprenudist Podcast.
Thank you for the enthusiasm. Thank you for the intro. And most importantly, thank you for having me. I want to say right out of the gate here, I do not take it lightly to speak into the lives of other people, because I believe what you allow into your mind is absolutely dictating a large part of your future. So thank you for having me. And I don't take it lightly. I won't waste a second of anyone's time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for coming on the show. One of the first things that I ask people, is there nothing that you know now that you wish you knew when you first started?
Oh, yeah. Better question is, what do I not wish I knew now? So I think you get older. I'm 37 now. And 11 years ago, I started a company called Alan Lazaros LLC, what you'll never learn in school but desperately need to know. And the thing that I wish I knew more was this acronym that I use now to determine whether or not I'm going to work with someone. So I call it UMEDSI, and it's unstable, manipulative, entitled, delusional, significance-driven, arrogant, and immature. I'll go through it briefly. And you figure out over time who your absolutely people are and who your absolutely not people are. And so the biggest mistake I made in business was just not having clarity about being discerning about who I do work with. And so it was interesting for me to hear you in that intro. It's actually 24 people now. You said an 18-person team with 24 people. And we're growing like crazy, which is good, but we got to stay humble on it. And the people that I used to hire and have on the team, I learned through just pain and failure who not to ever hire again, and who I don't work with. And so anyone who's unstable, manipulative, entitled, delusional, significance-driven, arrogant, or immature, anyone who has like a birthday month, I'm not really interested. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So those people are not good to work with, because they don't have the humility to say, okay, I'm going to earn every day. I'm going to earn every dollar. I'm going to come with an attitude of gratitude, and I'm going to put in the work. People who want big rewards for minimal effort are not my people. So that's what I wish I knew.
Man, I never made that correlation with the birthday month people, but I guess I can see where you're going, because I always assume. So I'm one of those people where on my birthday, I'm always working. Like even if I was like relaxing and chill for an entire week or a couple weeks, I set my life up in a manner to where I work when I want, I relax when I when I want to relax. And somehow, even in those segments of my life, when my birthday comes up, I have a full schedule. And I've always kind of connected that to, well, if you grew up getting a lot of birthday celebrations, then it transitions into adulthood. Whereas I didn't get that many birthday celebrations growing up. So it didn't necessarily translate. But it sounds like what you're saying is when you look back over all these years and this ever-growing team of the birthday month people don't necessarily fit in your culture.
Not at all. They don't at all, because Kevin and I, my business partner, we grew up without fathers. We grew up rough, and it sounds like you might have as well. Mm-hmm. And you just get the entitlement stripped from you. And I was born and raised in Massachusetts, so I'm grateful for that, right? Obviously. But we had to earn everything from the ground up, bootstrapped the whole thing. And Kevin and I dress nice now. My life's very different than it used to be, but I grew up broke. My stepdad left when I was 14. Birth father died when I was 2. And he took 90% of the income with him. So I went from sort of boats and ski trips in the 90s, early 2000s to, I don't know how I'm going to go to college. I get free lunch at school now because our income is so low. My mom trades in her BMW for a little Honda Civic. We don't have cable. And it was just figure out how to make it. And Kevin has a similar story. And we just can't handle the entitlement thing. Like, anyone who wakes up in the morning thinking they deserve things by default, I think it's a losing strategy. And I think that you need to have work ethic and humility, and you have to be willing to work really hard and do hard things to be successful, despite what the internet wants to tell you.
Oh yeah, I grew up without my father too. He passed away when I was 2 years old. So yeah, that may have something to do with it. That entitlement.
Yeah.
Being stripped
your father
away.
passed away when you were 2?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Mine as well, when I was 2.
Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things.
1991.
Oh yeah, that's what I noticed in your introduction, and it's one of those things to where I have memories, but are they real? Or
yeah,
were
same.
they? Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is the first time I've ever had a conversation with another man like this. I think they're real, but I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. Right? That's. I don't think I've ever met anyone else in 37 years whose dad died when they were 2.
Well, here you go. You met him today. You definitely met him today, and it seems to be connected. And a lot of one of my favorite books that I read, it can be whether it's Napoleon Hill speaking of it, or whether it's Og Mandino, which is another student of Napoleon Hill speaking of it. A lot of our things from childhood were just impulses. We just acted on impulses, and then those impulses transformed into habits. And we all are slave to our habits, but it's when you have a good habit that it is your will. How does consistency and habit tracking, how is that a game changer in business and in life?
If you were to ask me, in the last 11 years being in the personal development, self-improvement, personal growth space, what's the one thing? It would be habit tracking. I have my habit tracker up over here, and I started tracking habits 11 years ago in these little black notebooks. I would carry them around. I actually have them over here. And then I eventually started using Google Sheets because it's free and it's awesome. And so I track habits every single day. And ultimately, I was just on with a client earlier. Her name is Janae. She's from the Bahamas. We structured her day in 3 themes. So it's morning, afternoon, evening. And we structured it. The morning is for me. I'll do mine instead of hers, protect her, privacy. So mine is the morning is for me. The afternoon is for service, coaching, training, and podcasting. And then the evening is for food, family, and R&R. And when I say for me, I mean my personal development and my fitness and that kind of thing. So it's not like I'm waking up in the morning just hanging out. But at the end of the day, as long as I hit my mark in acting, you have to hit your mark. The extras and all that have to hit their mark on the camera or on the floor for the camera to pick them up. I say, as long as my clients hit your mark, you're good. And so I think we should all structure our days at least somewhat. I do Monday through Saturday. My morning starts when I wake up around 8. My afternoon starts around 11 a.m. when I start my first front facing. I know it's not afternoon technically, but it's my afternoon, right? Mm-hmm. And then I do coaching, training, and podcasting all the way to 8 p.m. I'm back to back today. And then I wake up. So then I transition to R&R, and then I wake up and do it again. And I incorporate exercise, household, all kinds of stuff into that. But ultimately, that's the flow of my day. And then Sunday is no front facing, but I still work. And so you mentioned working on your birthday. My birthday was in November. I turned 37 and I had a full day, full schedule. And people think I'm nuts. And it's like, I've designed a life I love. I designed a life where every day is great. And by great, I say that knowing that it's also really, really hard. Like today I woke up and I was like, okay, this is a big one. It's a big one. I've got, looking at my calendar right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 back-to-backs. And it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's all things that are by design, and it's all things that are meaningful, and it's all things that are challenging, so I'll grow. But ultimately, to answer your original question, the habit tracking piece, whether it's your calendar, your task list, your habit tracking, like I never understood, and I'm an engineer, so forgive me for this, but like I never understood how people could wing it and hope to be successful. And so I'm a business coach. I have 25 clients currently, and I tell them, if you're not willing to track habits and metrics, I'm not interested in coaching you. Because I did that for a long time, and I realized I can't get you results if you're not willing to track. If you want to lose weight, we got to track the scale. And your calories and your exercise. And so imagine if Michael Phelps' coach was like, yeah, man, just jump in the pool, swim around. But yet we do that all the time, and it makes no sense to me. And people are like, well, I want to be successful. Well, do you also want to track habits and metrics and set goals that are measurable?
Oh, yeah. Whatever gets measured gets better, and whatever gets measured and reported gets exponentially better. I forget who first said that, but it makes perfect sense. Yeah. And I'm assuming that these people that they're tracking these things, and they're working with a person like you and your team because they're trying to reach peak performance. Yes. What is peak performance, and why is that important?
So peak performance is a metaphor for reaching the top of your metaphorical mountain, the peak, but it's also a metaphor for what's called an optimal stopping problem. So if you picture an X and Y axis on a graph and you picture an upside down horseshoe, there's a max. We remember max and min from grade school. And so it's kind of the Goldilocks thing. Everything is too much or too little. And there's something called an optimal stopping problem. So you put the nachos in the microwave for 3.5 minutes and they burn, so too much. Or you put them in for 30 seconds and they're not enough. Cheese tastes like rubber. So the optimal stopping problem is in the middle. It's 2 minutes or whatever it is. Everything's like that. Even right now, this explanation, if I go too long, people will shut off. But if I go too short, I won't get the distinction to land. And so everything in life is an optimal stopping problem, everything, but it's predicated on a goal. If you set a goal to build muscle, eating more is now constructive. If you set a goal to burn fat, now eating more is destructive. So everyone says good and bad. The truth is everything is predicated on a goal, even if it's unconscious. And if you don't have a goal, you are winging it. So Pareto's principle of 20% of effort produces 80% of results is predicated on a goal. If you want to build muscle, the 20% that matters is weight training and eating more in a caloric surplus. If it's burning fat, you can do cardio and you can eat in a deficit. The ideas here are peak performance is when you are consistently and sustainably working on that optimal stopping problem towards your most important goals and measuring yourself along the way. And yes, of course, I'm not fun at a barbecue. But at the end of the day, if you want to be a peak performer and you want to have health, wealth, and love, and you want to be successful, you're going to have to at least adopt some of these things.
Absolutely. If you aim at nothing, you hit it every time. Nice. And yeah, it's in my business, it's the equivalent of what they call dying intestate, dying without a will. Okay, no, you didn't take the time to create your estate plan, but an estate plan does exist. It might not be what you want to happen, but it does exist. It's going to follow whatever those state rules are. And it sounds like what you're saying is, well, you didn't write down a goal, but it does exist. You're tracking towards something. It might not be where you want to track to, but you're tracking towards something. What is the description of the person or persons or company that's best to introduce to you?
I think that's a good metaphor you said there of like, if you don't have a plan, then there is a plan. It just probably isn't a good one. Mm-hmm. And I think that's so true too. If you're waking up in the morning and you don't have clear, specific, measurable goals, you are winging it. And so the right type of person for me, I have it written over here: high work ethic, high humility, and high self-improvement orientation. So you have to be willing to look in the mirror. So I'm about success and personal development, and I have 2,300 episodes of a podcast called Next Level University. And so I've become sort of someone who people either really like or really don't. Because I always say I'm the pain in the butt that you'll thank one day. Like earlier today with my client, Janae, I was like, I know this is a pain. I'm having her wake up earlier, go to bed earlier. Like, no one wants to do this stuff. But if you want to hit 5 million this year, you're going to have to do this stuff. And I said, quite frankly, you're not, in my honest opinion, because she is not as dialed in as she need to be, I don't think you can hit this goal without dialing in. We have to dial in. You have to get on track. Like, you can't be winging it. We might not hit it even if you do dial in, to be honest. Right? That's not a small goal. And so at the end of the day, the perfect person for me is someone with inward humility, who is willing to look in the mirror and doesn't assume that their way is the right way. Because it's not, I can almost promise you that. And then the second one is work ethic. You have to have high work ethic. If you don't have high work ethic, there is nothing I can do for you. Go get a pill, go take some quick fix, have that not work, tell yourself a story, make an excuse, and then go find another one. Like, I just can't with that. Like, a lot of the people losing weight with these shots, it's like, why aren't you just doing diet and exercise? Sleep, hydration, nutrition, training, mobility, breathwork, and supplementation. I used to be a fitness coach, so I see what's happening, particularly in my country, but all around the world with these drugs that are injected. And it's like, are we seriously at that point now where we can't exercise consistently? Like, when did we become these toddlers who can't like what happened? Right. So again, I know some people need them, but then it's like a lot of people don't. It's like, why are you doing that? So work ethic, humility, and then self-improvement orientation. You have to be able to look in the mirror and go, wow, I am kind of lazy. Wow, I am actually pretty unintelligent. I need to get smarter. I need to work harder. Like, if you come to me and say you want to achieve something you've never achieved before, that means you have to work on something you've never worked on before. Your current results, health, wealth, and love, are a byproduct of who you are now. And I'm not saying who you are now is right or wrong. I'm saying you have to become more if you want to achieve more. And the only exception to that is people who are full of it and who are lying, stealing, and cheating. So if you want to not lie, steal, and cheat and actually be an integrous human being who achieves more in the world, you have to add more value in the world. And the only way to do that is to become more. And that's through pain and challenge, and no pain, no gain. And so, yeah, I'm a little old school with that. I think my generation has gotten really soft and lazy, in my honest opinion. I'm old school. I work 6 days a week, every week. Truth be told, it's actually 7. I just don't do front facing on Sunday. And I'll probably do that for the rest of my life. I don't understand why people want big rewards for minimal effort.
You seem very self-aware, and that can be a very positive thing for people if they want to work with someone to get to that stage. Let's say somebody is waiting to get on your calendar, and or maybe they can't afford your price. What book should they be reading?
Ooh, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. The Art of Impossible by Stephen Kotler. A third recommendation would be Rationality by Steven Pinker. The rationality one, people aren't going to like. This book might as well be, hey, you don't think intelligently. The book might as well be saying that. Because we're wildly irrational, and we have cognitive biases, and we have blind spots. And Rationality by Steven Pinker is a book that's, none of these books are going to make you feel good about yourself. They're going to help you actually change and be better, but they're not going to make you feel good about yourself. And I feel like that's really at the core of the problem. Is I would rather not feel good about myself and actually get better, because I think we live in a very affirming world, right? You're already enough. You're already amazing. You've got this. You can do it. It's like, honestly, a lot of that stuff doesn't work in real life. In real life, you need to be like, if you get in the NBA, you don't need a coach to affirm you. You're amazing. Like, You need someone to be like, hey, you actually are really being lazy and you're not dialed in and your diet's off. Like, you need someone to not affirm you. And so those books are not affirming. You will not leave those books thinking I'm the man or the woman. You're going to leave those books going, wow, I am not dialed in at all. And that's actually good for you. It's the humble pie we need to eat to be more successful.
What's your definition of success?
To consistently and sustainably design and achieve the life of your own dreams, and to consistently become healthier, wealthier, and more in love along the way, albeit the ups and downs are brutal.
Is there not a question that I didn't ask you that I should have?
Not necessarily a question, but I do think this comes up for me every time. Like, if someone ever asks me, what's the one thing you want people to take away? I would say personal responsibility. It wasn't my fault my dad died at 2. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't my fault my stepdad left at 14. It wasn't my fault. But it is my responsibility to make a great life out of that. Those are the cards I was dealt. I didn't get to choose my mom, my dad, my stepdad. I didn't get to choose any of that. But I do get to choose how I respond to it. And I do get to choose to take personal responsibility for my own life and my own future. And what I've found over and over and over again is, like, if you don't take personal responsibility for your own future, it is very unlikely to be great because no one's coming to save you.
One last time, let everybody know who you are, what do you do, and how they can get in touch.
My name is Alan Lazaros. I'm the CEO and founder of Next Level University podcast and company. I'm a coach, trainer, and podcaster. I help people reach more success in health, wealth, and love, particularly in business. If you want to grow, scale, start, and monetize a podcast or a business, we have 125 paying clients now. We have a 24-person team. We are rocking and rolling. I've got a book club. I've got master classes I do every month. I've got free stuff and paid stuff. My name's Alan Lazaros, and if you have humility and work ethic, we're going to get along great, and we'll help you be more successful.
Absolutely. If you want Alan Lazaros to raise you from the dead, and if you get that reference, then you know where I'm coming from. Make sure you reach out to them. This has been another exciting and informative episode of the Entreprenudist Podcast, the place to hear real entrepreneurs and business owners bear it all. I am your host, retirement planning and life strategist, Randolph Love III. And until next time, don't play with it, stay with it until you make pay with it. This is the Entreprenudist Podcast, signing off.